History is shaped not just by battles, but by the minds that lead them. The greatest Muslim warriors were more than just skilled in combat. They were visionaries, rulers, and thinkers who understood that true power lies in unity, justice, and resilience. Their words were not empty slogans. They were lessons forged in the fires of war, governance, and struggle. Imagine a battlefield where a commander rallies his troops, not with promises of riches, but with a call to justice. Picture a ruler who believes that the strength of a nation is not measured by its armies but by its integrity. These warriors built nations, defended faith, and stood unshaken against empires. Their words echo through time, carrying the wisdom of leadership, courage, and sacrifice. In this video, we uncover the 10 most powerful quotes from Islamic warriors, words that have inspired generations and continue to hold the key to building strong nations today. As we explore their legacies, one question remains: what makes a leader truly great? Let's find out. Quote 1. Salahuddin Ayyubi. Victory is changing the hearts of your opponents by gentleness and kindness. Salahuddin Ayyubi, the great liberator of Jerusalem, was as much a warrior as he was a man of wisdom and mercy. His battles against the Crusaders were not just fought with swords but with justice and compassion. Unlike many conquerors, he did not seek revenge, he sought peace. When he recaptured Jerusalem in 1187, there was no bloodshed, no mass slaughter. Instead, he allowed people to leave safely and even ransomed captives with his own wealth. His belief that true victory lay in winning hearts, not just lands, is what made him a legend. In a time where brute force ruled, Salahuddin proved that kindness and diplomacy could be just as powerful. His words remind us that a strong nation is not built on oppression but on fairness and humanity. Quote 2. Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent. A lion is made a lion by his courage, not by the throne he sits on. Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent was not just an emperor, he was a warrior, a reformer, and a visionary leader. Ruling over the vast Ottoman Empire at its peak, he understood that true power did not come from a crown but from the strength of one's character and actions. Despite his immense authority, Suleiman led his armies on the battlefield, proving that leadership required more than just issuing commands from a palace. His reign was marked by justice, architectural advancements, and military victories, but what set him apart was his wisdom and humility. His words remind us that a nation's greatness is not determined by wealth or territory alone, but by the courage and integrity of its leaders. Quote 3. Nuruddin Zangi. I would be ashamed before Allah if I smiled while Jerusalem is in the hands of the Crusaders. Nuruddin Zangi was a ruler whose heart burned with the love of Islam and the defense of the Muslim world. Unlike many kings who indulged in luxury, he lived a simple life, dedicating himself to justice and the service of his people. His greatest ambition was to liberate Jerusalem, not for personal glory, but as a sacred duty. His words reflect his deep sense of responsibility. How could he find joy while the Muslim lands were under occupation? Nuruddin Zangi's relentless efforts paved the way for Salahuddin Ayyubi, who would later fulfill this mission. His legacy reminds us that true leadership is about selflessness, sacrifice, and unwavering commitment to a noble cause. Quote 4. Tipu Sultan. It is far better to live like a lion for a day than to live like a jackal for 100 years. Tipu Sultan, the tiger of Mysore, was a fearless warrior who refused to bow before oppression. He fought fiercely against British colonial rule, understanding that freedom was worth any sacrifice. His quote reflects his unwavering belief in bravery and dignity. He would rather die fighting for justice than live a life of submission. Throughout his reign, he introduced advanced military strategies, strengthened his army, and even developed powerful rockets that struck fear into the enemy. His courage and determination made him a symbol of resistance, inspiring generations to stand against tyranny. Tipu Sultan's legacy teaches us that true honor lies in standing firm for what is right, no matter the cost. Quote 5. Khalid bin Walid. Do not say that Khalid has fled. It is only a maneuver against the enemy. Khalid bin Walid, known as Saifullah, the Sword of Allah, was one of the greatest military commanders in history. His strategies were unmatched, turning the tide of battle even when the odds were against him. His quote reflects his deep understanding of warfare. Retreat was never a sign of fear, but a calculated move to strike harder. From the Battle of Mu'tah to Yarmouk, he led the Muslim armies to victory with intelligence and precision. His ability to adapt, outmaneuver, and deceive his enemies on the battlefield made him a legend. Despite never losing a battle, he humbly accepted his removal from command, proving that his loyalty was to Islam, not personal glory. His life teaches us that true leadership is about strategy, patience, and unwavering faith in the cause. Quote 6. Umar Ibn Khattab. I wish you knew what weakens Islam. It is when a Muslim is given a position he is not qualified for. Umar ibn Khattab, may Allah be pleased with him, the second caliph of Islam, was known for his wisdom, justice, and unwavering discipline. His words serve as a warning for all generations. Leadership is not a privilege but a responsibility, and placing the wrong person in power can lead to the downfall of a nation. Under his rule, the Muslim empire expanded rapidly, but his focus was always on justice and accountability. He walked through the streets at night, ensuring the well-being of his people, and held even the most powerful individuals accountable. His leadership was built on competence, fairness, and fear of Allah. His quote remains relevant today, reminding us that true strength lies not just in expansion, but in righteous and capable governance. Quote 7. Mehmet the Conqueror. Either I will conquer Constantinople, or Constantinople will conquer me. These were the unwavering words of Sultan Mehmet II, later known as Mehmet the Conqueror, the man who fulfilled the centuries-old prophecy of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. At just 21 years old, he led his army with unshakable determination, breaking through the mighty walls of Constantinople in 1453 and ending the Byzantine Empire. His conquest was not just a military victory but a symbol of vision, strategy, and relentless faith. He transformed Constantinople into Istanbul, making it the heart of an empire that would last for centuries. Mehmet's words reflect the mindset of true leadership, one that does not accept defeat but shapes history through perseverance. His legacy teaches that no barrier is too great when willpower and faith stand strong. Quote 8. Muhammad bin Qasim. My mission is not to conquer lands, but to win hearts. At just 17 years old, Muhammad bin Qasim led the Muslim army into Sind, not just as a warrior but as a just ruler. His conquests were marked by discipline, fairness, and the promise of justice for all under Islamic rule. Unlike many invaders of history, he didn't plunder or oppress. Instead, he ensured religious tolerance and administrative reforms that won the loyalty of the local people. His approach to leadership was unique. He understood that true victory is not in swords but in winning people's trust. His legacy remains a reminder that power is best wielded with wisdom and compassion, and that true leaders are those who bring unity, not destruction. Quote 9. Sultan Baybars. A ruler is not measured by his crown, but by his ability to protect his people. Sultan Baybars, the Mamluk warrior who defied the Mongols and crushed the Crusaders, was more than just a battlefield tactician, he was a protector of Islam. At a time when the Muslim world stood on the brink of destruction, he rose from slavery to become a ruler who struck fear into his enemies and hope into the hearts of his people. His victory at the Battle of Ain Jalut shattered the illusion of Mongol invincibility, proving that strength lay not in numbers but in unity and strategy. He reinforced the Islamic world, fortifying cities and reviving institutions of justice. Baybar's rule teaches that true leadership is not about personal glory but about standing firm when your people need you the most. Quote 10. Imam Ali, may Allah be pleased with him. Do not be a slave to others when Allah has created you free. Imam Ali, may Allah be pleased with him, the Lion of Allah, was not only a fearless warrior but also a beacon of wisdom and justice. His words were not just for the battlefield but for life itself, a call to stand with dignity, to never bow before oppression, and to always uphold truth. Throughout his life, he led by example, showing that true strength lies in unwavering faith and unshakable principles. He fought not for power but for justice, defending Islam with both his sword and his wisdom. His legacy reminds us that nations are built on honor and righteousness, and that no force can enslave those who refuse to submit to tyranny. Conclusion. The echoes of these warriors' words still resonate across time, reminding us that true strength is not just in swords and battles, but in the unwavering spirit of justice, faith, and perseverance. Salahuddin Ayyubi's humility, Sultan Sulayman's wisdom, and Khalid bin Walid's fearless resolve were not just traits of great conquerors, they were the pillars upon which great nations were built. From Tipu Sultan's defiance against colonial rule to Nuruddin Zangi's vision of protecting the Muslim world, each leader carried a lesson that extends beyond their era. Mehmet the Conqueror's determination, Muhammad bin Qasim's strategic brilliance, and Sultan Baybar's resilience in the face of overwhelming odds remind us that victory belongs to those who refuse to surrender, no matter how impossible the fight may seem. And at the heart of it all lies the wisdom of Umar Ibn Khattab and Imam Ali, may Allah be pleased with them, whose words continue to inspire the pursuit of justice, leadership, and freedom. History is not just a collection of past events, it is a guidebook for the future. These warriors proved that nations are built on courage, wisdom, and sacrifice. Their words are not just relics of the past but timeless lessons for those who seek to uphold the values of strength, unity, and unwavering faith. The question remains, will we learn from their legacies and rise to build a future worthy of their sacrifices?